Alright, we're back. This is part 21 on how to build a neck-through base. In this video, we are going to hog out the cavities and finish up with the router. This is a slightly more new method for me. When I moved the shop a few months back into a much smaller space, I had to make better use of, well, the smaller space, my time, find ways to be more efficient. And I also have neighbors that are nearby, so whenever I can cut back on noise, that works in my favor. Using a router to route out the electronics cavities can be noisy, and I found a very practical way to get a lot of the job done, which is actually a big time saver, and that is to use the drill press with the Forstner bit. So what I've done here is I've set up my drill press. It's a very old drill press, and I've put the depth stop to where it stops at about 10 millimeters from the table. What that means is I don't need to worry about drilling through my base. It's going to stop well before the final thickness of the front plate of the cavity needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and start hogging out these electronics cavities. There's one up on the upper bout for the battery box, and then a larger one down here for the electronics. We'll start with the battery box and just punch these out real quick. Just like that. Alright, now we're going to go to the electronics cavity on the bottom here. There we have it. Now, I can do that in about the same amount of time. It might take a little bit longer with a router, but it wears my routers out because that's a lot of material to hog out in a short amount of time. And I found that over the years I was going through 2, 3, 4 routers a year, making aggressive passes getting this inside material out. And using the drill press with minimal effort, very little noise. I don't even have on ear protection. I just did all that in a matter of minutes. Now it's time to take this over to the routing bench and touch it up with the router. I normally will use the Forstner bit on the pickups as well, but they're small enough. We'll just do that with the router today. But I am going to put the templates on, and we're going to just touch up the edges and then do the final depth with the router on the back here. So let me reposition everything. One of the big deals with this smaller space in my shop is to have wheels on my benches so that I can roll things around, which has been a lifesaver. We're going to get 2 routers prepared. One has a 1/2-inch bit with a bearing on it. The other is going to be the same diameter, just a bit longer bit for the depth of the internal part of the electronics cavity. Here it is. Oh, it's right behind me. That. Let's put this over here where you can see better. And, real quick, sorry, let me get my safety. First thing we're going to do is prepare our templates. So we're going to look at the back of these, and we're going to put some of this awesome double sticky duct tape, and I might have to run and get another roll because this one is almost out, but we'll make what we can of it here. I like to do this before I start routing and making wood chips fly everywhere. It's good to get this tape down on a clean surface. When you have a bunch of dust in the air, you're going to affect how well this stuff sticks to everything. And I'm not going to peel the backing off just yet because it's not time to stick this on here yet. Here's the inner. Typical electronics cavities have 2 routing templates involved. There's an outer and an inner. The inner is obviously the inside, which accommodates the depth, right? That goes all the way as deep as it needs to go. For this one, for the batteries. Same for the larger electronics cavity here. We have outer, inner. It's reversed image in case you can't read the words, that's why. And there's the end of that roll of tape. So we're just going to cut this off right there. I'm going to leave the full width of the roll on this one, because honestly I don't want it going anywhere. And let me squeeze by here and get another roll of tape. All right. All right, we're going to set this aside. We're going to do the outer. Every few years I will remake these MDF templates because they just get worn out. And you want things to remain as consistent as possible. The reason I use MDF instead of acrylic is in the rare instance where my hand slips and the bit nicks the side of the template, it's very inexpensive to make another one out of MDF. Where if I have to make one out of acrylic, that means I'm going to drive to San Marcos and pay a guy to do it with his laser cutter, and you know, rather not. So making them out of MDF just cost me a little bit of time. I can handle that. And then finally, for our pickups, we're going to get this one prepared. And the routing process, this is another step where there's a lot of different ways to do it. Some people use a big overhead pin router, right? Super duper industrial strength router. And they have special templates that go on the underside of the instrument. And it's just zip, 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 and you're done. It's very fast. Hopefully someday when I can get into a slightly larger shop that has beefed up power, 220 volts, maybe that can be a realistic option for me. As of now, just doing it by hand. There we go. Had a little glob of glue on there. So let's go ahead and start with these back plates here. We're going to put the inside template on first. Got to pull that little mylar backing off. Carefully line it up with the pencil marks that I traced. Once I have enough depth, I can take the template off and then just take the router straight in because there's a bearing. We're going to drop the bit back flush with the router base. Dump off the dust. And here we go. Now we're going to take this and stick that on over the top here and do the outsides for the lid or the plate, whatever. Stuff is hard to get off sometimes. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing now on the lower bout. Here's the inside. This tape is not cooperating. Let's see, one more pass and we'll go to the deeper bit. Pull that off. Alright, this is where I need to measure some precise numbers. First thing I want to measure is the body thickness. By nature of being handmade the way I do things, it can fluctuate a millimeter or so from build to build. So this is where I just find out exactly what we're looking at. We're right at 40 millimeters, 39, 40. That's going to go down some in sanding, so we're going to just consider it 39. And I need to leave about 5.5 millimeters of thickness on the front. That will accommodate the pots and any switching, coil switching that's going to live in there. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. So we're going to go for about 34 millimeters for our final depth, and I'm going to measure and then touch up from there. Now we're going to sneak up on it. We're not going to do it all in one shot. We have about 12 millimeters of material left to go. So 2 more passes and we'll be there. Let's see, where did my ruler go? It's right in front of my face, I know it, but it's just hiding. Here it is. So at this point, we are not quite 30 millimeters deep. So let's do a couple passes. Let's go. That's too deep. Yeah, we'll start right there. So what I'm doing here, this is going to be like hinting at my final depth. What I did was routed just a little circle right there. It's kind of hard to see. And I'm going to check that and see what we're left with. 6.4, I'm going to go just a tad deeper and we'll be there, and then I'll just route the whole rest of it. Right about there should do it. Do another test run here. There we are. 5.8, that's where I want it because sanding's going to take it down just a little bit. So we're going to finish out this. now we're going to do the outer edge. Take this. And golly, wood chips all over. Okay, that's on. We're going to measure. Give that a shot. Deeper. Okay, there we have it. Now we're going to work on the pickups on the front. Boy, this tape is just being difficult today. It varies from roll to roll. I've had some that are just so bad I throw them away and start fresh. You never know. There we go. And carefully aligning things, eyeballing it. We want perfect symmetry. Again, the center line being the lifeblood of the instrument. There's that. All right, we're going to rough these out. Got to go to the larger bit here. All right, now we're going to do the neck pickup and we'll be done here. I'll route the neck pickup slightly deeper because it typically needs to be sunk into the body a little deeper, and you want to leave adequate room for that. There we have it. Pickups and electronics cavities routed out. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.